China's economy beat its official target and grew by more than 5% last year. But Beijing is still struggling to get business booming after COVID-19. Asia correspondent Stash Butler has the details.
So GDP growth for 2023 at 5.2% according to the numbers released by China just now. These hotly watched figures watched around the world, China obviously being the world's second largest economy and a primary driver of global growth, expected to be the world's biggest driver of global growth according to the IMF over the next 5 years. That 5% target set by China. Now, to most Western economies, those numbers would look great. They would dream of numbers like 5% GDP growth. Australia's, just to give a comparison for 2023, is expected to be about 1.6%. We don't have a final number for that yet, but that's the prediction. But you've got to bear in mind, in China's example, that this is a country that just a few years ago was seeing economic growth of 8, 9, or even double-digit percentage points. And also, GDP is done on a yearly basis, so you're always comparing one year with the year before it. And 2022 for China was a difficult year with the COVID lockdowns, meaning that's made the numbers from 2023 look perhaps a little bit better than they otherwise would. The ongoing problems still remain for Beijing, those being the ongoing property crisis, low consumer and business confidence, and in general, a low global growth, which is affecting demand for Chinese products from abroad. Of course, China is Australia's biggest two-way trade partner. Australian exports to China were worth $150 billion in 2022. That means that, China is buying, its main product is buying from Australia, being iron ore, a huge amount of iron ore going from Australia to China, where China then processes it into steel to use for, well, pretty much anything that you use steel for, but most recently electric cars and equipment for green energy. The worry is that if China suffers economic difficulties, it may stop buying as much of Australia's iron ore. Now, so far, we haven't seen that happening. Demand has remained strong, the price has remained stable. But if it does, there will be knock-on effects for Australian businesses and Australian consumers back home.